First up on the docket this week, Creative Assembly holds their second Building Medieval 3 dev stream, focused on battles and sieges. For those who missed the first one a few months back, the Building Medieval series is Creative Assembly doing something they don't normally do, which is showing their games during pre-production and inviting community feedback while there's still time for it to change anything. Everything carries a work in progress disclaimer, and they're upfront about that, but there's still a lot of substance worth going through. This is Critical News. I'm your host, Jack, and we have a decent chunk of strategy news to get through this week. The Battle Vision discussion is where they spent most of the first half of the stream, and the central point is that they're deliberately slowing the pace down compared to previous titles. The goal is clearer phases within a battle, a skirmishing phase, an initial clash of lines, and the follow-through, so that you're layering strategic decisions rather than just reacting constantly. They're framing this around the psychology of battle, where morale is treated as something more complex than a single bar ticking towards zero. Cohesion is being positioned as a separate concept. A unit can still believe it's going to win, but fall into disarray if it gets isolated or hit in the flank. And those are two different problems with different solutions. The Knights discussion is a good illustration of where their heads are at. Heavy cavalry in the medieval period didn't have a hard counter, so rather than building a simple rock, paper, scissors system, they want you to handle knights through grand tactics, using terrain, fatigue, and multiple engagements to strip their effectiveness before you commit your better forces. Whether that plays out well in practice is something only time will tell, but the thinking is historically grounded, and it's more interesting as a design problem than just assigning counter units. The momentum mechanic is the other thing worth flagging. The idea is that battles should be capable of dramatic reversals, so that you can be losing and still turn it around through the right decision at the right moment. They cited Grunwald and Bovines as reference points. Battles where the outcome shifted mid-fight through a single, pivotal action. If Creative Assembly can model that well, it would go a long way towards making battles feel like they have a narrative rather than just being numbers resolving. On sieges, Creative Assembly's position is that past Total War titles overdid siege frequency and diluted what should have been a climactic event in a campaign, and Medieval 3 is designed around correcting that. In Medieval 3, sieges are positioned as the endpoint of the war and peace cycle. You've beaten the enemy in the field, you've chased them back to their capital, and now you have to take it. Multiple wall layers are confirmed as returning, and your campaign investment in defenses will be reflected directly in what you face in battle. The tooling demonstration covered how settlements are authored, and the new system allows for non-rectangular wall layouts, which hasn't been straightforward in their engine until now. More importantly, wall widths are dropping significantly. Past titles ran walls at around 11 meters. Medieval 3 is targeting 3.5. Street widths are coming down from a previous floor of around 32 meters to a minimum of 12, which should make urban fighting feel considerably less like a parade ground. Interior combat in towers and keeps is confirmed, so fighting up a spiral staircase to reach archers at the top is the explicit intention. A few confirmed details from the in-engine footage. Walls are fully destructible. Moats are in development. Carried ladders are confirmed for the final game, with the current pocket ladders being placeholder for testing purposes. Suppression is being added as a mechanic for ranged units. And they're looking at letting sword units on walls pick up discarded bows as a contextual option. The footage itself was a rough pre-production work. Units clipping, placeholder animations, pathfinding still sorting itself out, but the layout of the siege maps and the verticality of wall and tower combat was clear enough to get a feel for where it's going. Creative Assembly are planning quarterly streams going forward, so this is a series we'll be tracking through development. The forums are open for feedback at the link in the description of that stream, and they've said they're reading everything, so if you've got strong opinions on battle pace or siege design, now's the time to put them in writing. City Skylines turns 11 this month, and Paradox are marking it with a fairly packed March across both the original game and its sequel, City Skylines 2. The headline release is Race Day, a new expansion for the original City Skylines developed by Tantalus, which launches tomorrow on March 10th. You can now build racing circuits and event routes through your city and host motor races, running races, cycling races, and parades. Motor races can run on dedicated permanent track roads or on event roads, which are regular city streets that are closed to traffic during an active event and reopen afterwards. There's a race HQ building that anchors the circuit, pit garages, spectator stands, and a scheduling system for managing events across the year. The dev diaries go into considerable detail on traffic management because closing roads for events creates knock-on problems, and if you haven't planned alternate routes first, which is exactly the kind of systems puzzle the game has always been built around, you'll be in trouble. Alongside race day, there's a free patch for all players regardless of whether they buy the new expansion or not. It brings roadside fences, 2 new billboard props, and an employment info view that lets you see where your commercial, industrial, and office zones are short of workers and where your unemployed residents are actually living. Small additions, but useful for anyone doing serious city management. 2 content creator packs are also launching on the 10th. Iconic Brutalism and Renewed History, plus a new radio station. Everything from March 10th is going to be available separately or together in a bundle at around 17% off if you'd like to have the full package. On the side of City Skylines 2, Iceflake are bringing 2 more content creator packs on March 18th, Office Evolution and City Stations, alongside a free patch that marks their second update for the game. Steady progress rather than anything dramatic. The other item worth a quick mention is that the all-content subscription has a price cut. The monthly tier for City Skylines subscription has dropped from $9.99 to $7.99, with the 3 and 6 month options coming down proportionally. If you've been sitting on the fence about it as a route to get back into the game's DLC catalog, the timing with the anniversary content makes it a reasonable moment to take another look at that price. A new quick one for Starship Troopers Terran Command players. Signups are now open for the closed beta of the Eradicators, the game's first battlegroup DLC. It's territory mode content only with no story campaign, but it's bringing a new planet, 7 new player units, 4 new arachnid units, and 10 new territory maps. The flavor is chemical weapons, radiation, and biological tech that lets you turn the bugs against each other. It fits the setting quite well. Sign up link is in the description. Next up, Broken Arrow is getting a live event on March 16th. It's going to be at 5 p.m. CET on the Slytherin Twitch channel. On the agenda, they're going to cover a roadmap update, some more details on the Baltic Battalion DLC that's coming out for free, and a release date reveal. There will also be a live Q&A with the creative director. If you've got questions for the team, they're collecting them now ahead of the stream. Worth marking the calendar if you've been following the game's development. Turn-based Thursday Fest is back for its 4th year, and the corresponding Steam sale goes live today. It's a 7-day online festival built around all things turn-based games, with over 400 participating titles across RPGs, 4X, grand strategy, deck builders, roguelikes, and more. New this year is a featured reveal show, a roughly 35-minute trailer showcase covering new announcements and upcoming content available on the Steam sale page and the Turn-Based Lovers YouTube channel. There's also a content creator schedule with around 50 creators streaming across the week and over 40 different game giveaways. If your wishlist needs some attention, today's a reasonable day to start sorting that out. That's been Critical News for this week. Subscribe if you haven't already, share it if you found it useful, and I'll see you on the podcast that comes out later this week on Friday.